What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J&D Sports Talk. Today I'm going to be giving you my NFL Week 10 predictions and talk about other things in the sports world. And I'm going to be reacting to some hot takes you guys gave me. I made a TikTok instead of a tweet of saying, give me some of your hot takes. It could be about any sport, and you guys gave me some. Shout out to the people who did that, and we're going to be reacting to them in the end of this video. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright, first up, we got tonight's game. The Cincinnati Bengals going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Thursday Night Football. This is going to be a good game. Battle of one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL. Cincinnati's currently sitting at 4-5. Meanwhile, Baltimore is sitting at 6-3. I think this is going to be a good game. Potentially overtime for this one. I am going to pull off the upset. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they're going to get the win tonight. Ravens, they've been playing really good football. They won 6 of their last 7. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, they started bad, but they've put some success together, mainly on the offensive side of the ball. So yes, Ravens offense is very tough, but I feel like Cincinnati's defense is going to do, not bad tonight. And if they hold them to like less than 30 points, that should be enough. So we'll see. But Joe Burrow of the year, they both quarterbacks have 20 touchdowns in the year. Burrow has 2 more picks, 4 interceptions. Lamar has 2. And meanwhile, we all know Derrick Henry, he's the only running back right now over 1,000 yards. And Jamar Chase has 7 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Zay Flowers has 3. Like I said, though, this is going to be a good game, and I think the Bengals are going to win this one. But it's going to be a good game. Next up, we got the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers battling it out in Germany. Bryce Young is starting. Chuba Hubbard is got his contract today. And Jonathan Brooks will likely make his NFL debut, which I'm very excited about. Hopefully we can kind of replicate with Hubbard and Brooks like Montgomery and Gibbs for the future. But this is going to be a good game. Obviously, I think the Panthers are going to win. I really like our chances in this one. The Giants have been statistically terrible. So, hopefully if Carolina plays good, control the ball, run the football good, throw the football good, play good defense. Defense hasn't been that bad the last couple games. We will win. So I'm taking Carolina in that one. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos going to Kansas City for the first early afternoon slate. Denver is currently sitting at 5-4. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are 8-0, and I think the Chiefs are going to improve to 9-0. Right now, they look unstoppable, and Denver's definitely not going to be the team to stop them. Denver is not that good. Their record is better than they are, but they should be like 3-6. But like I said, though, Kansas City, they've been playing really good football, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. But we will see as the Chiefs welcome their division rival into Arrowhead. Next up, we got a good game. A 6-2 versus 7-2. The Steelers going to Maryland to take on the Commanders. This is going to be a good game. Steelers could be Super Bowl contenders, and Commanders could be too. They're both playing good football, especially the Commanders. Commanders are off to a way better start than anyone anticipated. But I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. This is going to be an upset. Steelers are going to go to Maryland, which isn't far from Pittsburgh, and they are going to get this dub. But I think it's going to be a good game. This could be a game that goes to overtime. But, I probably want Washington to win, but I think Pittsburgh's going to pull off an upset here. If they're, Commanders are favored by 2.5. I think Steelers are going to pull off the upset. All right, next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Vikings are 6-2 at the moment. Meanwhile, the Jaguars are 2-7. We all know the story with the Jaguars. They haven't been playing good. They put together a few good games, like 3 or 4. I think some of those were one-score games, some of those losses. But Minnesota, meanwhile, They haven't played as good the last few weeks as they have earlier in the season, but that doesn't mean they haven't been playing bad. Mac Jones is probably going to start in this game, so we will see. Um, but Minnesota, Sam Darnold, we all know that story. He's been good, and the Vikings have been good. Vikings, like I said, 6-2. I think they're going to improve to 7-2. I think the Vikings will win this one. I could see the Jaguars winning this game, though. I very well could see it, but I'm going to take kind of the safe pick. I think the Vikings will win this one. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons going to New Orleans to take on the Aints. Obviously, the story with the Aints is they just fired their head coach, and Darren Rizzi is taking over. He was their special teams game coordinator. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, they have a lot of young talent, and they are 6-3. They're in a good spot right now to win the division, which I'm hoping they don't, obviously. But Atlanta at New Orleans, most people would pick the Falcons here, but I'm going to pull off. I think it's going to be an upset. I think the Aints are going to pull off an upset, and I think this is just such a Falcons game to lose. What do you guys think? Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers going to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucks. Bucks, it's been tough kind of without their top two receivers, Godwin and Evans, but they found offense in different ways. Rachaad White, Bucky Irving, McMillan, their rookie receiver, Cade Otton, hasn't been bad. Their defense has been all right. They played Kansas City pretty good for the most part. And meanwhile, for the Niners, they don't look like the Super Bowl Niners, but they don't look that bad. Christian McCaffrey is coming back this game more than likely. I'm going to take the Niners in this one. I think they'll win this one. I think the Bucks will drop 2 games below 500. Meanwhile, the Niners will improve above 500 by game. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills going to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Bills 7-3, Colts 4-5. What do you guys think of the Anthony Richardson benching? I want to hear some opinions on that. There's a lot of mixed opinions in the media. I think it's best for the team. I feel like we brought this up before. There's definitely a quarterback development problem in the NFL, and I hope they fix that. And I think when quarterbacks get drafted, except a few, they should learn, sit back, watch a veteran, and go out and do it. Learn the system, trust the players around them, and get used to the speed of the game. Also, a little bit of playing time. But this game, not the season. Meanwhile, for the Bills, they've been playing good. They've had a couple games where they were iffy, but they've been playing good. They got a tight win over Miami last week on a 61-yard game-winning field goal by Bass. I think you guys aren't going to agree with this one. But the Colts are going to pull off the upset in this one. I think the Colts will improve to 5-5 at home. Meanwhile, Buffalo will fall to 7-3. I think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think the Colts are going to pull off the upset. But we will see. Next up, we got the New England Patriots going to Chicago to take on the Bears. Patriots are 2-7. Meanwhile, Chicago's 4-4. The Bears have a big coaching problem right now. Big attitude problem, stuff like that. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, they're playing for pride. And they're just playing the best football they can. Trying to improve every week and be competitive. I'm going to take the Bears in this one. Excuse me. Mark my words here. I think if the Patriots win this game, Eberflus is gone. Okay? I think they're going to make a change. The Bears just seemed not really like a team. You got people walking off the field. People not paying attention on an important play. Stuff like that. Terrible offense. They're just not playing like a functional NFL team. I think, if they lose this game, it's going to be looking really bad. But I think they're going to win this game over the Patriots. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans going to LA to take on the Chargers. Titans, they have not found anything really going this season. They are 2-6 right now. To some, Callahan looks like the wrong hire. It's too early to tell, in my opinion. But meanwhile, for the Chargers, even though they don't have the most competitive team, Harbaugh is making it work. They are 5-3. I think the Chargers will improve to 6-3, get this win, take a step ahead of Denver in their division to take second place. I think it's going to be a good game, though. I think Chargers will win by 2 or 3 scores, maybe like by 17, 14, 17, but it's going to be a good game. I think the Chargers will win that one. Next up, we got a NFC East rivalry. We got the Eagles going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Eagles are 6-2. Cowboys are 3-5. This is a must-win for Dallas. They need to win this one if they want to be considered serious to anybody. This game is in the 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever your timing is, window. It would be 1 o'clock to some. But I'm going to take an upset here. I'm going to take Dallas. I think they're going to get back on track. I'm hoping. And, we'll just see how this game goes. It's going to be a good game. NFC East rivalry. We got the New York Jets going at Phoenix, Arizona to take on the Cardinals. This is a must-win game for the Jets, in my opinion. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, they're currently the 4th seed. Congratulations on the Cardinals for that. Cardinals are 5-4. Meanwhile, the Jets are 3-6. I think this will be a good game, low key. I'm gonna take the Jets in this one. I definitely do want Arizona to win, and I could definitely see a world where Arizona does. But I think the Jets will win this one. They know what they're fighting for. They know they got to win these games. And on Halloween, I don't know if they dressed up like a good football team or that was actually them. We're going to have to see second half version of that team. But we will see. So I can definitely see Arizona winning this game, but I think the Jets will win this one. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions going to Houston to take on the Texans. Sunday Night Football. This should be a good game. As long as Houston's line is functional, this will be a good game. I'm going to take Detroit in this one. I think they're going to improve to 8-1. Houston's going to fall to 6-4. Houston hasn't been playing the best football. Everyone knows that if you watch ball. Meanwhile, Detroit, they look like one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. I think Detroit's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a good game, high scoring. Maybe like both teams will score like in the 20s, maybe like a 28-21, 28-20 kind of game. The game will end up being 20-20, and then Dan Campbell will score a touchdown and go for 2. But we will see. But I'm going to take Detroit in this one. And last but not least, we got the Miami Dolphins going to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Monday Night Football on Veterans Day. Shout out to the veterans out there. I'm going to take the Rams in this one. They're going to improve to 5-4. Meanwhile, the Dolphins will drop to 2-7. But if the Dolphins want any consideration for the rest of their season, this is definitely a must-win game against a team that on paper is similar to your skill set, and you should have around the same record as. They're going to take this one extra personal. This is a must-win game for Miami, and I think the Rams will win this one. So now that we're getting to that point in the season, we're going to start saying must-win game for some teams. I don't want to say this too early, but this could be a must-win game for Cincinnati. This is probably a must-win game for the Giants and my Panthers if, want to make a playoff push, which I'm hoping Carolina finds a way to do. You always want your team to make the playoffs, stuff like that. Let's see here. This is a must-win game for the Jaguars if they want to have any consideration. Must-win game for the Saints, too, if they want to have any consideration. And I feel like this is a must-win game for the Bucs to keep in pace for the division, stay around 500. Same with the Colts. Must-win game for the Patriots to still be in that conversation. Same with the Titans. Must-win game for the Cowboys. They need to beat teams that are supposed to be their skill level, and must-win game for the Jets. They need these wins. All right, we're gonna go and look around some things in other sports. We're gonna talk about some of my other things. The Florida Panthers are off to a good start this year, 9-3-1, 19 points. They play the Predators tonight at obviously predicting a win. Florida, not off to the greatest start, but we're not doing bad. We're doing pretty good so far. Tar Heels, they play this Saturday, and it is against, let me check here. What happened? Hold on. Oh, excuse me. They play Wake Forest. I knew it was something like that. I just wanted to make sure I got it right. 8 o'clock. It's a night game. Tar Heels are home. Hopefully we improve to 6-4. We got 3 games left against Boston College and NC State. I'm honestly hoping we win out. I think we have a good chance to. And meanwhile, for the Warriors, they're off to a good start this season. They got a good win over the Celtics last night, 118-112. Warriors are now 7-1. So hopefully we keep that going and prove to everybody we could be legit with the young talent we have. All right, boys, we are now at that part of the video. I made a TikTok the other day of asking you guys to send in your hot takes, and I told you I was going to react to them in this video. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to react to all of them because there's 17 comments. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys responding, and I'm going to get to all of them. So here we go. First one from Trent_cool. He says, my hot take is the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl even if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. I agree with that one. Obviously, you're not saying you want Patrick Mahomes to get hurt. It's obviously always a possibility, especially, with the ankle injury he suffered. But I feel like even if Patrick Mahomes, didn't play, the Chiefs have a really good chance. I think right now they are gonna three-peat. They only got better in the offseason. They're 8-0 right now. They're not playing the best offensive football, but their defense keeping them in games, and then their offense goes and does well. So I agree with that one. I think that's a good one, and obviously very possible. Next up, we got a basketball take here from Razor. Kobe Bryant is so overrated. He isn't even in the top 10. I could see this one. Okay, I think he's top 10, but I could see this one. That obviously Kobe was a really good basketball player. I don't see him outside of the top 10, but he's not top 5, but he's probably top 8 in my opinion. I believe the best player of all time was MJ, but what do you guys think about that one? I can definitely see where you're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I could see where you're coming from. Next up, we got from Malik. The Chiefs are losing the Super Bowl. You could see that too. Especially, like I just said, how their offense is played. Don't come at me like, oh, what do you mean their offense is played? They're still a good offense, just not how they've been. Part of that is, yes, injuries, Pacheco, Hollywood, but they're still playing good, and I can definitely see them losing. I think the teams they lose to right now is probably Detroit, and a few other teams maybe. Detroit is the hottest team in the NFC right now, though, so that's probably at the top of my head who they would lose to. But if they make it, they could obviously lose it. So next up, we got Aiden Lockhart. The Pittsburgh Steelers are genuine Super Bowl contenders, and T.J. Watt is the best player in the NFL currently. I think the Steelers could be Super Bowl contenders. I gotta really see how they play later in the season when they get those tough games they have in December. They have like the Chiefs, the Ravens. I think they play, obviously the Bengals. I'm gonna have to see how they do in those games, but they can definitely be Super Bowl contenders. Not at the top of the list, but they definitely have a chance to be Super Bowl contenders. Like I said, I will have to see how they play later on in the season. And I don't think TJ Watt is the best player in the NFL currently. There's a few players, like, even though he hasn't had the best season, Patrick Mahomes, I think people would take over TJ. Lamar, Burrow, there's a lot of good players. It's hard to say who's the best, but TJ Watt's definitely up there. I think he's definitely the best pass rusher, but that's a good hot take. Next up, we got from Peyton. Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. I agree with that. That may sound crazy, but if you look at the statistics, Mahomes hasn't cheated yet like Brady did. You could mention the ref thing, but statistically, the Chiefs get messed by the refs more than they do helped. If you actually watch the games, you'd realize that. But like I said, though, I think I agree with that one. Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. Not all time, but at the age, Mahomes is 27 right now. 26, 27, 28. I think he's 27, 28. At that age, he's had a more successful career than Tom Brady has. So we're going to have to see, but that's definitely a good case. Next up, we got Brock Purdy is better than Mahomes. No. I'm sorry. That's not. No. No way. From Kanye West, not the real Kanye West. Saints could be a Super Bowl contender if there wasn't injuries and better coach and QB. In that sentence, there are a lot of ands, so let's kind of start with that. But you're not terribly wrong. If they kept going how they did in the first two games of the season, then this sentence would be true. Next up, we got two more here. One from CL. The Eagles aren't going to lose another game this year, and Jalen Hurts winning MVP. I think the Eagles could be Super Bowl contenders if they play, in rhythm and stuff like that. But they're not going to finish the season undefeated, and Jalen Hurts isn't going to win MVP. There's a handful of players that would win ahead of him, and I don't agree with that statement, but I could agree that they're gonna go far in the playoffs, if not win the Super Bowl. I on my list, they're probably fifth or sixth to win the Super Bowl. I will give you guys that later on in the season, but I don't agree with that statement. But I could see Eagles winning the Super Bowl, but I think there's some teams that would win it before they do. Next up, we got from Ethan. Keon Coleman is going to win Rookie of the Year. No, he's played better. He's played better than a lot of rookie receivers. I will give you that. But Brian Thomas Jr. is playing better than him, and obviously Jaden Daniels, and a few other rookies are playing better than Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman is definitely, out of the rookies, he's definitely top 10, probably 7 or 8. He's maybe even top 5. Keon Coleman's been a really good football player, good start to his career, but I don't see him winning Offensive Rookie of the Year this season. But he's going to be one hell of a player, I'll give you that. And I like what he's been doing in Buffalo so far. That is going to be it for today's episode. Like I said, I appreciate the people who gave me comments on that TikTok for this portion of the video. I will definitely do more of those in the future. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode and agree with my predictions. If not, let me know in the comments below who you guys think is going to win this week. And I will see you guys in the next episode.